You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once, and then I never picked it up again.
Everybody hates Disney's latest live-action remake, Snow White, and the movie hasn't even hit theaters yet. People are already ripping it apart, and it's not just because of casting choices. This movie is wrapped in public backlash for several reasons, and the escalating feud between its two lead actresses, Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot, has made matters even worse. It's no secret that Disney has poured an insane amount of money into this remake. Reports from the Daily Mail estimate production cost to be around $330 million, but once you factor in marketing, the figure could climb to over $1 billion. This makes this movie one of Disney's most expensive films. But sadly, things are already going downhill. The movie's trailer didn't help either. In fact, it earned the unfortunate title of Most Disliked Trailer in History on YouTube. That's not a title you want attached to a movie that's already bleeding money. Fans didn't hold back, and neither did the comments section. It's one thing to create a buzz online, but when the buzz is overwhelmingly negative, that's a problem. So, why all the hate? Well, aside from the fact that the Seven Dwarfs are now all CGI, the movie seems to have veered way too far from what fans loved about the original. Gone is the enchanting fairy tale romance, replaced by a more modern and independent Snow White, something fans argue wasn't necessary. And let's be honest, Disney's obsession with turning classics into modern reimaginings is getting out of hand. Not every fairy tale needs a boss girl makeover. Sometimes people just want a little magic and romance. Is that too much to ask? But that's just scratching the surface. Much of the hate stems from how far this remake strays from what fans loved about the original. Gone is the whimsical fairy tale romance, and in its place is a more modern and independent Snow White, a version that many fans didn't ask for. And then there's Rachel Zegler. From the moment she was cast as Snow White, the outrage wasn't about her ethnicity or even her portrayal. No, it's all about her comments. Zegler went out of her way to let us know she's not exactly a fan of the 1937 classic. In fact, she called it weird and outdated. Really, Rachel? The only reason you're standing here being considered for this role is because that weird and outdated film...
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
So no prince, or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie.
Right.
Andrew Burnap, great dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Laid the groundwork for your career move. It's as if she doesn't realize that the magic of that film is the whole reason this remake even exists. That comment was a slap in the face of one of the classic projects that made Disney what it is today. She didn't stop there. In another interview, she admitted that she'd seen the original film once and didn't really enjoy it.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 17 years.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe little Rachel was terrified, but when you're about to play one of Disney's most beloved characters, maybe keep that tidbit to yourself. It's not exactly helping. And when you combine this with comments like calling the prince a stalker, it's no wonder fans are scratching their heads.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story. With a guy who literally stalks her.
Look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to bring a fresh perspective to a character, but when you're actively trashing the source material, that's where you lose people. It's like Disney and Zegler went out of their way to alienate fans of the original. As if Rachel Zegler's controversial comments weren't enough, there's also a brewing political feud between her and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. Zegler has been very vocal about her support for Palestinian rights, while Gadot, an Israeli actress, has taken a firm pro-Israel stance. This clash of ideologies has played out very publicly, especially following the tragic events of October 7th, where over 1,100 Israelis were killed in a Hamas-led attack. Gadot took to Instagram to express her outrage and frustration over the violence, particularly highlighting the atrocities committed against women. She even organized a screening of a documentary that detailed the horrors of the attack, though she reportedly didn't attend due to concerns for her safety. On the other hand, Zegler has held steadfast to her pro-Palestinian views, which she has openly shared since 2021. In May, she tweeted about her support for Palestine and urged her followers to keep the conversation going. As the situation in Gaza intensified, Zegler took to social media again in January, urging global leaders to call for a ceasefire amidst the devastating toll in the region, where over 40,000 lives have been claimed, according to Gaza's health ministry. This ideological clash took a bizarre turn when, in early October, Gadot posted a new Snow White trailer on Instagram, featuring photos of her and Zegler in an apparent embrace. But what should have been a moment of shared excitement for the film turned into a digital battlefield. While Gadot's followers filled her comment section with Israeli flag emojis and messages of support, Zegler's followers hit back with Free Palestine comments and Palestinian flag emojis. It didn't take long for Zegler to throw her own voice into the mix, posting thanks for the trailer's 120 million views, and then, in a follow-up comment, simply stating, "And always remember, Free Palestine." The tension between them has been affecting production and marketing for months. Disney execs have been running around like headless chickens trying to keep the peace, but things are looking grim. And if by some miracle they do manage to get Zegler and Gadot in the same room for the press tour, it'll probably be because of a hefty paycheck. Disney knows it's in deep waters with Snow White and is desperately trying to play the damage control card. At the recent Ultimate Disney fan event at the Honda Center in August, both Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler sounded very different from their interviews last year.
It's been under wraps for so long, so it's really exciting to get to share any kind of look with an audience that cares so much. It's been really, really amazing.
It's incredible, like Rachel said. I can't wait for everybody to see the movie. It's classic and beautiful and inventive. It's just magical.
Yeah, as a diehard Disney fan myself,
It was almost like watching two actors trying to save a sinking ship while clinging to the lifeboat that is their careers. Did Rachel just say she is a diehard Disney fan? Really, Rachel? The same diehard Disney fan who publicly trashed Snow White, the very film that gave Disney its name. That's rich. It's as if she thought we all developed collective amnesia overnight. The internet, however, never forgets. Fans in the comments were quick to remind her of the comments she made last year when she called the original movie weird. Rachel didn't just change her tune. Her entire demeanor was softer and more humble, a complete 180 from the I don't care attitude she had in earlier interviews. Now, suddenly, it's all about the fans and how they're going to love this movie. But sadly, the damage has been done. Anyways, things aren't just tense between Gadot and Zegler. There's also reportedly friction between Gadot and Disney itself. When Gadot signed on to play the evil queen, she was reportedly promised a significant amount of creative control over her role and how it would be marketed. After the success of Wonder Woman, she expected that level of influence. But as her career cooled following the cancellation of Wonder Woman 3, it seems Disney may have scaled back on those promises. Feeling sidelined and disillusioned, Gadot is reportedly not happy with the direction of the movie or her involvement in promoting it. For Gadot, this film was supposed to be a chance at a high-profile comeback. Instead, she's caught in a no-win situation, torn between fulfilling her obligations and distancing herself from a sinking ship. As for Zegler, her outspoken nature might have earned her some fans, but at what cost? With the backlash she's facing, it's hard to see how this doesn't leave a stain on her rising career.